So up to this point, we have marked that a major chord, or any sort of chord really, doesn't have to be major, but a chord in root position is going to be marked as a 1, 5, 3, or just a 1 chord. Don't know how, but we lost our colons there. So a root position is just 1 in Roman numeral. When we have a chord in first inversion, we write that 1, the Roman numeral I, and add a 6 to it to tell us that the top note is a 6th above, not a 5th above. Now here, this is what we're going to do for the C major chord in second inversion. So again, we still have a C major chord. We have a C, an E, and a G all at the same time. No matter how that's stacked, it's still a C major chord. And when that's our key signature, when we are in C major, this chord is going to be a 1. Now, like I said before, even though G in this case, G is our lowest note, even though that's not our root, it is our lowest note, we are still going to mark that with a 1. And then we have to mark what the notes above that are. So we have a 1. If we come over to our keyboard visualizer, we need to go from G to C. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. So C is a 4th above G. Mark the 4 there. That looks not very good. There we go. That's much better. And then we have to mark the E. So I'm going to come back over here. We have to go from G to E. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. E is a 6th above G. So our notes here are a 1, a 4, and a 6. And so what we're going to call the second inversion chord, we're going to mark that as a 1, 6, 4. We can't just mark it as a 1, 6, because if we did that, we would confuse it with the first inversion, which is technically the 1, 6, 3. We don't need the 3 here, though. And over here, we have the 1, 6, 4. I just wanted to rewrite that so it looks a little nicer. So the 1, 6, 4 is different from just the 1, 6. When you see a second inversion chord, it's 1, 6, 4. Now I'm going to zoom out a little bit. Actually a lot. I'm going to zoom out. And I'm going to point out something before we leave these 3-note chords and move on to the 7th chords. You can see in these first 3 examples, we have 3 notes. We have 3 notes, and I should say 3 different notes. We have 3 different notes here, 3 different notes here, and 3 different notes here. When there are only 3 different notes in a chord, we call those triads. Now, triad comes from the number 3. When there are 3 notes in a chord, those are triads. So when we come down here and we look at our 7th chords, those will not be triads because there's more than 3 notes. So I just wanted to point out triads with this first row of our 3-note chords that we have before we move on.